Okay, we are now live on YouTube. And let me record this. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilborn, and joined with a whole bunch of folks for the live session of how to make money trading stocks, options, and ETFs and this is our live webinar that we do every Friday when I'm in town. I want to welcome everybody, say thank you so much for showing up. Dr. Steve has some really great stocks that he's going to, well, a stock that he's going to be talking about. And guess what? It's going to be a twofer, Steve. It's going to be really good because I'm going to show a stock that I'm really interested in owning going into the end of the year if I get my triggers set up. So there we go, how to make money trading stocks and options. And remember, bad habits are easy to form and difficult to get rid of. So at all times, be discerning and wary of what you are rehearsing. Because if you're in the market, you are rehearsing something. You're either rehearsing good habits or you're rehearsing bad habits. Bad habits lead to inconsistency and unnecessary losses in the market. So again, thank you for joining us. Always remember that, here's the disclaimer. We make our presentations for training purposes only. If you will, please paper trade any new method prior to the risk of your own personal capital. Absolutely critical. I want to show one thing, and let me see if I can pop it up over here. I want to basically show you, maybe I can't show it to you. Maybe I can show it to you. I can't. I'm just going to pull this over here. If you are I would encourage you, if you have not become a subscriber to Market Tech Talk, that's where I post all my free content. Please go to Market Tech Talk YouTube channel and so hit subscribe. There will be a little bell underneath here. Hit the bell also, and that will notify you when new content is coming. There's going to be so much great new content coming at the beginning of the year. I also want help me get my membership subscribers up to over 1,000. And so if you're wondering how to do it, I'm going to basically copy that. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to paste that in and I'm going to send it to you. There is the link to go in. So just that you can cut and paste that link in there. And again, I'm really excited about what we're providing going forward through into the new year. And I'll leave that there. So thanks a lot. So, hey, what is the objective of our weekly session? It is very simple to, we want to basically provide timely, actionable intel, review of what's going on in the indexes. And that's the 3 tracking indexes that we track. And then simply, basically provide some, clear and simple methods so that we can multiply our returns. So my market review right now is basically, guess what? The rally's on, but how far is it going to go for the new year or in towards the new year? Is Santa really happy with the Fed, or is Santa just giving us a fake out for the Santa Claus rally? We'll take a look at some stocks and ETFs, bonus setups when available. And again, you're getting a twofer today. So I'm going to move rapidly through the rest of this. Remember where we are in the year. We are here, right there, basically, just finishing up the midway point of December. Seasonality-wise, the markets, including the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Russell, tends to get a nice rally into the end of the year. We'll see if that takes place. If there is any, here's a prediction, and this is an opinion only, is if we strike a deal with the Chinese from a trade perspective, that it looks like they're really searching to be able to do that, that could cause a strong rally into the end of the year. Now, of course, if it's a crummy deal, or if we get some kind of hiccup, because remember, the new tariffs were supposed to take place on the 15th, which is, guess what? That's Sunday. We'll see what transpires with this. Here's where we're sitting as of about 9 o'clock in the morning. Some people count down to Christmas. I count down to there's 9 more trading days for 2019, and then we get into 2020, and we'll be ready for that. Let's go over to the chart. One of the things, if you are a free member, even a free member of Active Trend Trading, that way you're getting the access to this webinar and access to what I generate on a weekly basis, which is my Power Rank Elite list. You get this one, and you also get the Elite running list that we do for the complete year. And we track every stock that's shown up on the IBD 50 since the beginning of the year. This is actually a much more stronger list because every week it spits out a new list, and it's I go through over 500 stocks every weekend to come up with this list, and this is what I call my power ranking list. And I'll provide somewhere between 5 is the least I've ever had, up to about 20 is the most I've ever had. What does it do for you? You know that this list is the best of the best of the stocks showing up on the IBD premium watch list. They put out 13 different watch lists that covers over 500 stocks. So that's what I'm providing back to you in a very condensed manner, hopefully to save you time and effort to find new stocks. We've got a special announcement coming here shortly about this. So let's get in here and take a look at what the heck's going on with the market. Blow this up really quick. Here's the SPY. The SPY continues to push on up. We had a nice little rebound on the weekly chart back here at the beginning of October, and it continues to press upward. We had at our meeting on the IBD Honolulu meeting on Tuesday, we talked about continue to play the trade the pullbacks until they stop working. Well, right now they're still working, but they're really jerky. We got this dump off last week. We get one pullback this week into the 8, and it bounces and moves higher. So for right now, I'm not buying this breakout, but I will basically look to a potential, I really don't like the SPYs that much, but if you are a SPY trader, look for a retrace back to about 315.6 to get into a potential trade, either options and or the leverage ETFs. QQQs for the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's again continue to perform better than the other indexes. It too earlier this week, you get a nice little, low level pullback into the 8, rebound after the Fed. And actually it was rebounding prior to the Fed actually coming out with his final announcement. And we're launching on up here. It is pushing to the, this Keltner channel. This is 2 standard deviations away from the 20-day moving average on the daily chart. And right now it is just basically doing the pullbacks into the 8 or the 20. One big blowout from last week when we look like we're gonna have a big sell-off, stopped dead in the water at the past breakout at 195.55 and rebounded. And so again, what am I looking for? I need a pullback into the moving averages or a good pullback in the moving average on the intraday 1-hour chart to signify it's time to get into a trade. And probably through the end of the year, what I would be doing is I would be buying options for QQQ, or I would be looking at buying TQQQ moving upward. Last but not least, let's take a look at IWM. IWM, it continues to be the weak red-headed stepchild. It is respecting the 20-day moving average. So let's see if we can get some kind of a washout type move early next week down to about 161. I would say 161.25 would be a good pullback area. May drop a little bit further than that, 160, somewhere in that range. You could trigger a trade to the upside. Our momentum indicators, though, are saying, not looking too positive. We are getting some negative divergence across this level here. And so longer term, that's saying, momentum of coming out of this, we might look for a deeper pullback, or look at what's happening over here on the weekly chart. The momentum is still heading up into the upper area. However, we're getting to a place where we're getting some really nice signals, like we're getting a 3-line cluster here on the weekly market forecast. And what that tends to mean, if we're getting a 3-week cluster in the upper reversal zone, somewhere between, excuse me, somewhere between 1 to 4 weeks after, 1 to 4 trading periods, and since this is a weekly chart, 1 to 4 weeks after we get that signal, could indicate a more significant market pullback. So I'm not sure. Now I'm going to flip over and say, okay, Steve, let me get you. Where are you? Where'd you go, Steve?
Okay.
Okay, you're live.
Okay. So we need a stock pick. For me, it's a re-entry of an old trade, and we might take a few minutes and review the trade. This is TTD, Trade Desk.
You got it.
It was an entry. I forget where we entered, but quite some time ago. Had a nice run, and I exited the trade on 12/2 on a 3-bar, the break of a 3-bar low.
Right here.
And yes, on that long bar,
Yeah.
right about where your cursor is was my exit. And the next day, it triggered the upside green bar. It triggered a potential re-entry, which would happen on the 4th.
Yeah.
If you missed that entry, today would have been a great entry.
Yeah. Yeah, as it went back up through the 8-day moving average, that would have been a great entry.
Right.
So I think last time, Steve, didn't you enter down in this area here?
I think the 1 bar after the report on earnings.
So right here.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not absolutely sure.
So in other words, what you're trying to tell us, no, what you are telling us is that you jumped in about here, rode it up, to approximately $55.
Right.
And so you made, if my math is correct, about 27% in a very short period of time.
Correct. But that was a lucky trade. Most entries don't give you a run like that. But
yeah. Oh no, I agree.
Yeah.
But still, that's darn good. I want to highlight one thing, Steve. You talked about it on Tuesday night, and I really have been analyzing this and really like the concept. Is that when getting out of a trade, a lot of times, part of the active trend trading system I put up is if you get a close below the 8, you get out. But at the same time, look what can happen. Here was the close below the 8. That wiped out almost over half of your profit. Now, if you have another type of stop in there, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But that breaking through, now, explain to me, do you give a little bit of, here was the low of the 3 days right here. And that was at 256.09.
I have 255.99.
Make sure I'm looking.
It's the low of let me get my cursor in place. It's the low of 1126, and I have 56. I'm sorry, 56.09. That's correct. So the stop would have been 10 cents lower for me. 55.99.
And what impressed me about, and this is a bonus for everybody who's on the video or on the webinar today, that is a really rock solid lock in some profit kind of a trade, where it's so easy to let me ask you in just briefly, what brought you to discover that as a good exit strategy?
Actually, it's something I ran across a number of years ago. I'd say 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I can't find the site anymore. I think it's no longer available. But it was a tutorial on swing trading, and the person used a 2-bar low as an exit, a 2-bar high for an entry and a 2-bar low for an exit. And I've just over time modified. I think a 3-bar is a little more conservative.
Yeah, but let me tell you, that is and like we talked the other night, a person, like if you would have jumped in here and wrote it up, you don't have to get totally out of the position,
That's
because
correct.
what could have happened here is it could have just pulled back to the 8 and then continued on.
Correct.
But dadgummit's a really great way to lock in some profit. And
And I think also when you have a run, an extended run like TTD has,
yeah,
then I think you want to be a little more aggressive with exiting.
Roger that.
Yeah, yeah,
Roger
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I like that. Somebody's got a question, Steve. Hey, Barry, if you could, I don't normally watch the question and answers, but I just saw that you put this, do you use a 3-bar low or SMA 8 to sell, or do you wait for both?
I generally rely on the 8 EMA close, a close
Yeah.
below the daily 8 EMA. But
Right.
when I've had an extended run and I'm looking to be a little more aggressive in exiting,
Yeah.
I like the 3-bar low.
Yeah. Because let me give you just a real quick clue on this. That's a great question. So the question from Alex is TTD still a buy at this point, or have we
Yes,
missed the boat?
I think it's still a buy.
Yeah.
And I think, but what's critical is to watch the action next week.
Yeah.
And we have a down bar 5 days ago.
Yep.
That high of that, the high of that bar will probably provide some resistance. If we cannot break and close above that high, then I'd be nervous about an entry if you took an entry today.
Okay. Yeah. And to answer your question, Alex, basically I'd be, again, Steve and I have similar but different trading techniques. I like the pullbacks into the moving averages because basically if it gets blown up, I know where I'm going to exit, and it keeps me really, really tight stop losses.
Right.
And I like a pullback towards the 8 in this case, which is about about 250, $250 if I get a pullback into that. But I may take the mid section of that big green candle from today here. But what I want to show you, and that would, so anyway, a pullback into approximately $52. We could trigger a trade in. The other thing to look at, this is a 30-minute chart. Let me switch over to an hour chart. Now, we don't normally spend this much time on the trades, but this is such a rock solid, thing to think about. The thing that are to look at is on the 1 hour chart, I use the 50-period moving average. That's an EMA, okay? The 50-period EMA on a 1 hour chart equates to what? It equates to approximately the 8-day moving average. And so if I know that, I take that into consideration. I've got all my moving averages on the 1 hour chart starting to move up. Well, it also tells me, precisely 247.99. What is the 8-period moving average actually at? Well, the 8-day moving average is actually at 248.25. So that's pretty darn close. And so that's the way I kind of plan my trades out. So that's awesome, Steve. So, are you ready for your twofer?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me guess. NOW.
Wrong. No.
Wrong. Okay. Okay.
So, our Restoration Hardware is just been nutso. Well, we get a breakout last week at 208.33 after earnings, and now we're getting just a typical pullback into the moving averages. Where do I like it at? I like it somewhere. I mean, it could stop right here on a dime and reverse. There is also a 60% Fibonacci retracement. It's about 212, or I've got the 20-day moving average at 212 and the breakout level. So any kind of I've got this little box here, and if prices get down into that intraday, I can actually place an order in there to say, I can do so much with it. I mean, I'm anticipating a rally into the end of the year. So this could very easily turn around at 215, 214 and rally back to, 240. So that's a nice little, what's that?
Dennis, can I add something?
You can.
1, 2, 3, 6 bars ago, we had the large breakout green bar. And-
Here, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that bar. The low of that bar is it will provide very good support.
Exactly.
And we also at that almost at identical level was the area from where the breakout occurred.
Exactly.
So it's like double support.
Yep.
So anything toward that level would be a great entry.
Yeah, because a lot of people say, well, Dennis, how do you know it's going to turn around and bounce right there? Well, a lot of history and a lot of practice.
Right.
Is that's what tends to happen. I've got a wonderful bullish stack. The price is above the 200, above the 50, above the 20, just pulling down in between the 8. So this is a nice pullback. And for those of you who are trading more of the active trend trading system, be aware, we may not get a reversal down here off the TSI down here in this level here. But what is nor might we get a 3-line cluster on the market forecast. But look what is happening. The 2 other momentum lines are down below the 20 line, which is, we call that a 2-line cluster, which could lead to a nice move up. But I really like it in there. If, and what would I do? If it fails at, fails the breakout level of 208.33, just below that is my stop. So if I'm in here at, let's say, 214 as an example, and it drops to here, I mean, it's 3.5%. Very, very small risk, risk on that. And what's my potential reward on it? Well, if I just crawl back up to the past highs, well, that's 13%. So not too bad. What do you think? Steve, you like this one?
I love it. I love it. It's one I'm also watching. Yeah.
And so anyway, just want to leave that with you. And Steve's talking about the other one, which we provided for our premium members this past week, is now on active trend trading. And 3 times price action tested down into the 50-day moving average and held the 200. And each time it did a nice rebound. Today's rebound is even nicer, and I like it. And so our trader, our traders for active trend trading, we put out the alert first thing this morning with a text message saying, hey, get into this price if you hit down here at around 264.30 or 260. And I don't know where you were filled, but I was filled at 264.35. And we're really close to being able to, and with the expectation by the end of the year, it's going to climb back up to around 280. But we'll take out some profits on the way up, and that's fine. So, okay, let's close it up because we ran a little bit long, but that's important stuff for everybody just to be aware of. Now, if I can find, there we go. And so, as I said, and now, look where now was, right there on the power ranking from last week. A couple other power rankers that I'm still watching, Steve. I'm still watching the INMD that
Yeah,
you
it
put out
still
last
looks.
week.
It looks intriguing. I
Yeah.
got stopped out, but I'm ready to re-enter.
Yeah, but it just hasn't happened yet. And
Right.
oh, look at this one, RH.
Yeah.
How about that? So one of the things that for people who are have not become premium members, we are going to be doing coming soon a new membership level for active trend traders. Is going to focus on the top 5 of the weekly Power Rank Elite. What does that mean? It means I'm basically going to be sending out trigger emails specifically, or a go no-go table for the top 5 stocks every week that come out of the power ranking list on this sort of over 13, going through 13 best IBD watch lists. Here's what the power 5 did from the beginning of the year. What was on the, here are the, what I consider the top 5 now: Team, Cyber, ABGO, and KL. And here's a nice little return that it did. And so I'll be sending out, here's your triggers, guys. Here's how I'm putting it. There will be no text associated with it or anything like that. But, and if you're already a premium active trend trader member, don't worry about it. You will start getting these. But again, this is going to be a new entry-level membership level for active trend trading, and it'll be a yearly subscription membership. So last but not least, if you're looking to looking for some speakers for your group, please notify us. I can do either a customized meeting specifically for you in person and or a webinar. The BAM, Bay Area Moneymakers webinar meeting January 4th, and we'll be doing 2020, your year for breakthrough and prosperity. If you're interested in those 2 topics, you need to be connected to that. Steve runs the monthly IBD Honolulu meetup. I think we're scheduled to meet on the 7th, Steve, is that correct? He's probably muted himself. And so anyway, then we'll walk through on down through that. If you are interested in finding, basically my son Brandon put together these great trading journals, and he is doing a Christmas discount on them. If you want to go find them, you can go here. I can't get it. I wanted to copy that. And basically they are over 160 pages of how to journal plus journaling pages so that you can keep track of what your get your trades going. So right now, so with that, looking forward to a continued strong finish to 2019, a strong start to 2020. Keep the A growing for premium members. Well, we will be starting up at the top of the hour, the final hour, where we talk about the trades we've done, anything that might be setting up for the next week, such as more details about the RH trade restoration hardware. And so with that, I want to say aloha, trade well and prosper. Have a great weekend. Mahalo. God bless. Steve, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to take you off mute so you can say aloha to everybody. I think I'm taking you off mute. Anyway, I just want to, like I said, say
my pleasure, Dennis. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we are having fun together. And so are you now, well, I really love what you're, started doing with the, the Honolulu IBD meetup group also. I think it's going in the right direction thanks to your guidance. So keep up the good work, man. So again, remember, if you haven't joined us on YouTube, please subscribe, please hit the bell so you get the notification. And with that, I will say aloha, God bless, have a absolutely fabulous weekend. See ya.